Have you ever imagined that one of the ancient Egyptian kings remained lost for thousands of years? Now, after centuries of mystery, the tomb of King Thutmose II, the last missing royal tomb of the 18th dynasty, has been discovered. In an extraordinary archaeological find, an Egyptian-British mission uncovered the tomb in Valley C, west of Luxor, after years of research and excavation. But what did scientists find inside the tomb? Why was it in such poor condition? And most importantly, where did its original contents disappear? Join us in this thrilling video as we unveil the secrets of this great discovery. More than a century after the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb, an Egyptian-British research team has announced the discovery of a royal tomb belonging to King Thutmose II, the last missing tomb of the 18th dynasty kings of Egypt. This is considered one of the greatest pharaonic discoveries of all time. The tomb of King Thutmose II was found in the western valleys of the tombs of Thebes, near the city of Luxor. This area was previously known as a burial site for queens, making the discovery all the more surprising when researchers confirmed that the tomb belonged to a pharaoh rather than a royal woman. The discovery was made during the excavation and archaeological studies of Tomb C4, whose entrance and main corridor were found in 2022 in Valley C in the Theban mountain west of Luxor, about 2.4 kilometers west of the Valley of the Kings. This tomb carries an incredible story, one that I believe is relevant to some of the discussions happening around us today. In particular, how do we know this is the tomb of Thutmose II? Unlike the tomb of King Tutankhamun, this one was almost completely empty. There were very few artifacts inside, and the king's mummy was not found within the tomb. That's because the mummy of Thutmose II was actually discovered more than 100 years ago in a completely different location outside Luxor, in a village called Deir el-Bahari. We will discuss this site later, as it plays a crucial role in the larger story of this tomb. But first, who was Thutmose II? Thutmose II was the fourth pharaoh of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt during the New Kingdom period, a dynasty that produced some of the most famous pharaohs in Egyptian history. He was the son of King Thutmose I and legitimized his reign through his marriage to his half-sister, Hatshepsut, the daughter of Queen Amos, the principal wife of Thutmose I. After his death, Hatshepsut became the ruling pharaoh and governed Egypt for over 20 years, following the end of her regency over her young stepson, who later ascended the throne as Pharaoh Thutmose III, known as the Napoleon of the East. The mummy of King Thutmose II was discovered in the Deir el-Bahari cache in 1881. Studies have shown that he died at around the age of 30, and his mummy is currently housed in the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. Thutmose II succeeded in suppressing rebellions in Nubia and the Levant and defeated a group of nomadic Bedouins. However, these military campaigns were carried out primarily by his generals rather than by the king himself, according to the Egyptian Museum's official website. The museum describes his mummy as having his arms crossed over his chest, like other royal mummies, while his right leg is completely broken and separated from the body. Unlike most other royal mummies, however, his fingernails and toenails were neatly trimmed and clean, indicating that he was a king who took care of himself and maintained personal hygiene. But what's truly fascinating here is, how did they determine that this tomb belongs to Thutmose II? When the mission uncovered the tomb's entrance and main corridor in October 2022, the team initially believed it might belong to the wife of one of the Thutmose kings, given its proximity to the tombs of the wives of Thutmose III and the tomb of Queen Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut's tomb was originally prepared for her as a royal wife before she assumed the throne, and was later buried in the Valley of the Kings. As excavations continued during this season, the team uncovered new archaeological evidence confirming the identity of the tomb's owner, King Thutmose II. The findings indicated that the person responsible for his burial was Queen Hatshepsut, his wife and half-sister. Hatshepsut lived for decades after his death and became the ruling pharaoh, as Thutmose III was just a young child when he inherited the throne. Additionally, fragments of alabaster vessels found inside the tomb bore inscriptions with the name of Thutmose II, identifying him as the deceased king, alongside the name of his chief royal wife, Hatshepsut. This provided undeniable confirmation of the tomb's ownership. For the first time, the mission also discovered Thutmose II's funerary furniture, an extraordinary find, as no funerary furniture belonging to him exists in museums worldwide. The tomb was found in a poor state of preservation due to severe flooding that occurred shortly after the king's death. Water inundated the tomb, which led the archaeological team to retrieve and restore fallen fragments of plaster. Some of these plaster fragments contain traces of blue-painted inscriptions, yellow stars representing the sky, and passages from the Book of Amduat, one of the most important religious texts reserved for royal tombs in ancient Egypt. It consists of a passageway with a floor covered in a layer of white plaster, leading to the burial chamber. The corridor's floor level rises approximately 1.4 meters above the chamber floor, suggesting it may have been used to transport the tomb's primary contents, including Thutmose II's remains, after the flooding. The tomb also contains a massive staircase and an exceptionally large corridor, highlighting its grandeur. However, the excavation team faced significant challenges in clearing debris from the passageways, which were filled with rubble due to the flooding. They had to crawl through a narrow 10-meter-long passage before finally reaching the burial chamber. The exciting aspect of discovering the tomb of Thutmose II is that it represents a significant step toward uncovering 5 missing royal tombs, including those of King Ramesses VIII, Alexander the Great, Nefertiti, and Cleopatra, tombs that have yet to be found. This discovery opens the door to the possibility that other tombs exist far from the valley, encouraging scientists to expand their search and excavation efforts into new areas. Although the discovery may seem simple at first glance, it strengthens the likelihood of uncovering a new valley filled with royal tombs, which could provide rich details about the history of ancient Egypt and contribute to the rediscovery of these lost tombs. The English expedition is expected to take more time to conduct detailed studies, which will enrich Egyptian history in the coming years. This discovery also raises many puzzling questions that remain without clear answers, such as, why was Thutmose II buried alone in this location, while Hatshepsut was buried in the Valley of the Kings? Why is this the only royal tomb in the Western Valley? These questions leave scientists and researchers bewildered, as no definitive explanation has been found yet. They also pose a major challenge in our complete understanding of ancient Egyptian history and the secrets of that era. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this content and would like to support me in continuing to provide more, you can join the channel members. This will help me improve the content and bring you more accurate and exciting information. The link is in the description. Thank you for your continued support.